going to give the audience a gift, and we'd be very happy if you'd call up and order that gift. It's we'll talk more about it later, but it's a newsletter, and it's a wonderful newsletter. So many interesting topics. One of the topics that I especially enjoyed, Sarah, and stay with us because we'll talk more again how you can get that gift from us in a little while, but one of the topics, freedom from fear, I especially enjoyed, and I'd like our audience to read that because during these times we need that particular frame of consciousness to experience freedom of fear with all that's going on around us, all the circumstances that might be negative. But can you, in line with the newsletter or the theme of freedom, tell us more about the Lucis Trust concept of freedom.
Well, freedom is generally, I think, thought of as the liberty or license to permit a particular action or type of behavior. Mm-hmm. It releases you to do something that otherwise might be curtailed. I think that's how the traditional viewpoint of freedom would be thought of, as personal liberty. Mm-hmm. And goodness knows the American psyche prizes freedom above all other values. I think it's a national value that's deeply held, and rightly so. But the spiritual component of freedom is something quite different. And in the writings of Alice Bailey, which are brought out somewhat in this newsletter for World Goodwill, the view of freedom is linked to the ability to renounce or to sacrifice or to give up. That might seem odd, but in fact, if you think about it, only when people learn to share what they have, whether we're speaking of wealth or whatever knowledge or experience or material abundance, only when people learn to share and to give up their claim on a whole lot of anything so that others may have some, only then can we really think about having a society that's that expresses freedom in a way that doesn't hurt some at the expense of others. Freedom is closely tied in with this ability to share and to renounce for the personal self. That's a spiritual component of freedom.
And another thing that is written in the Bailey books, that freedom is really a state of mind. Mm-hmm. It's the way and you have to really think about that. You have to put your mind around that. It's a state of mind. It's a state of thinking, a way of thinking, and it's not necessarily a condition of our beingness. But
well, there's that wonderful book which comes to mind, and usually, as is the case, my mind goes blank. It was written by a psychologist who spent a lot of time in a concentration camp during World War II, and who wrote about the freedom that he attained while he was imprisoned in this concentration camp. He died a couple of years ago. It's a classic text. Sorry, everybody, that I can't think of it. But you're right. He found only in the most limited circumstances what real freedom is.
Yes, because even in a prison situation, one can still have the freedom to think and to imagine and use your higher spiritual faculties. Mm-hmm. And that's where the true freedom really begins to be known.
Freedom to think.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with outer walls or whatever.
Right. You can transcend the walls, actually, and if you sit quietly in your cell and use your mind to transcend.
You're saying that even in the freest nation of the world, and that really the manacles of the mind, so to speak, are the ones that really imprison us. You can live in the freest country in the world, but if you place certain restrictions, certain limitations within yourself, if you have a self-image maybe that's not so good, that restricts you from reaching your highest potential, that those are the true restrictions and handcuffs that we place on our own being.
They're usually the hardest to identify. Yeah. I mean, I don't think most of us could identify where we are really restricted, where we really don't have freedom to think. We don't know how we are conditioned by our group, by our ideological viewpoint that we started imbibing at our parents' knees and through our school system, through our culture, we don't know where we are really constricted, do we? So that's why it's so hard to think freely, to get beyond these borders.
Yeah. Well, for those people who just tuned in, you're listening to Inner Sight, and what we're speaking about today, our theme, is World Goodwill. And Sarah and Dale both said that it generates genuinely from the heart. It has to come from deep within, and we have to really mean it. Goodwill towards other people. And Sarah and Dale are standing behind their feelings of goodwill because they're giving you a gift today. And all you have to do is give us a call, and you can order that gift. And the gift is the World Goodwill newsletter. And if you'd like to read that essay on freedom from fear, and there's so much other material in there that's extremely worthwhile reading, I think you'll come away with it with a better understanding of life, maybe even of yourself. But freedom of fear is something we all need. And if you'd like to read that article, along with the several other topics that are within the World Goodwill newsletter, you can order that newsletter from Lucis Trust at the following number. It's a toll-free number. It's 1-866-695-8247. 1-866-695-8247. An easy way to remember it is 1-866-NY-LUCIS, L-U-C-I-S. That's 1-866-NY-LUCIS. And you can also order the Alice Bailey books. They're very thought-provoking. Reading them, I know, has caused me to do a lot of soul-searching. And I've got a long way to go to finish 24 volumes. However, what I have read has caused me to really take a look at my inner being and question life. And I see things a lot differently after reading the works of Alice Bailey. So if you'd like to order the Alice Bailey books, you can certainly do so by calling that same toll-free number. And you can also order our cassettes. You can order a copy of this particular show or any of our other shows. Or if you'd like, by the way, another item that we'll be happy to give you complimentary for free is the general package of information. It tells you about who we are, gives you a lot of information about the way we view life, and basically who we are. We're, I guess, for lack of a better word, we're a spiritual philosophy organization. We explore life. We're not a religion. And we have people from all walks of life and backgrounds interested in Lucis Trust and the works of Alice Bailey. So by all means, give us a call. You can call us to order that general package of information if you'd like. We'll send that out to you, as well as the Goodwill, World Goodwill newsletter that we're speaking about today. Give us a call once again at 1-866-695-8247 or 1-866, same number but an easier way to remember it, and that's 1-866-NY-LUCIS, L-U-C-I-S. Our website is www.lucistrust.org. And when you key into that website, you can hear all of our previously archived library of shows that we've done, and we've done lots of them now. We have titles for them, and you can certainly listen to those that you prefer, and I think you'll find them of great interest. Our email, newyork@lucistrust.org. And please remember that this show is funded by the generous donations of our listeners, and we need and welcome your support as a means of staying on the air. Let's continue our discussion on World Goodwill. I think the world definitely needs a lot more of that than it's already got. And we were speaking about freedom and more or less analyzing what freedom is. And there's a difference from the literature that I've read, written by Alice Bailey. There's a difference between freedom from things and freedom to things. How is that clarified in the works of Alice Bailey?
Well, perhaps it's related to the four freedoms that Franklin Delano Roosevelt posited in the 1940s, which are mentioned in her books. He said that every human being has the need for four essential freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of worship, and then freedom from want and freedom from fear. Mm-hmm. There's the liberty to attain, to achieve, that we all experience. There's also the need to be safe from certain things happening. Mm-hmm. Both of them are a kind of security, I suppose. Freedom and security are very closely interlinked.
Mm-hmm. And I think as far as individuals are concerned, to be free from one's own